5 times a champion of the world. Blink and you'll miss him. The Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
One.
A nice angle on the black.
49.
Cluster. He can. Ronnie's got other things on his mind, and so has everybody.
Well, listen, John and Rick.
$89.
Yes, and I think well, they will now. Needs to be a bit lucky. That's okay.
What a break! What a fantastic maximum break!
Imagine a world where Ronnie O'Sullivan, the biggest name in snooker, was never born. It's a wild thought. Without the Rocket, snooker would have had a completely different trajectory. He's the guy who brought so much excitement, speed and flair to the game that even casual viewers tuned in just to watch him play. But what if he never existed? Who would have stepped up? And who might have taken the crown as the greatest of all time? Let's dig into the past, present and future of snooker to find out. The legends who could have dominated. First off, snooker had plenty of incredible players before Ronnie came onto the scene. But would any of them have claimed his spot as the undisputed GOAT? Let's look at a few candidates.
Arguably the most successful player in the game, who has smashed virtually every record in the book. 7 times world snooker champion and world #1, Stephen Hendry!
Before Ronnie O'Sullivan burst onto the scene, Stephen Hendry was the king of snooker. Known for his dominance in the 1990s, Hendry was a machine. He won 7 world championships and held the record for the most centuries for years. Hendry wasn't the most charismatic player, but he was a relentless competitor with an unmatched hunger to win. Without Ronnie in the mix, it's likely that Hendry's dominance would have lasted even longer. Some believe that O'Sullivan's flair and unique style pushed Hendry into an early decline, as he struggled to match Ronnie's speed and creativity. If Hendry had no O'Sullivan to compete with, would he have gone on to win 10 world titles? Maybe. Hendry's mentality was all about breaking records, and without Ronnie, who knows what his ceiling would have been. John Higgins is another player who would likely have a much bigger spotlight in a world without Ronnie. Known as the Wizard of Wishaw, Higgins has an incredible all-round game. His tactical approach, combined with precise potting, makes him one of the most complete players in snooker history. Even though Higgins won multiple world championships, he was often overshadowed by Ronnie's flashy style. But in a Ronnie-less world, Higgins would have had the chance to claim more fame. His rivalry with Mark Williams and Stephen Hendry could have taken center stage, and perhaps Higgins would be seen as the guy who redefined the game with his strategic brilliance. Mark Williams, known for his laid-back style and ability to pull off the most outrageous shots, was another legend whose career was somewhat eclipsed by Ronnie. In an alternate timeline, Williams could have been the poster boy for snooker. With his unconventional cueing and fearless approach, Williams had the potential to be the game's most entertaining player, and his rivalry with Higgins might have become the stuff of legends. Williams was no slouch, even in his reality. He's got 3 world championships to his name. But without Ronnie's immense presence, Williams would likely have become a bigger icon, bringing his unique flavor to the forefront of snooker. Up-and-comers who could have shined. But let's not just focus on the old guard. What about the players who might have had more chances if Ronnie wasn't dominating headlines? There are a few names who, with a bit more spotlight, might have become household names themselves. Judd Trump is probably the first name that comes to mind when thinking about future greats. In fact, some might argue that even with Ronnie around, Judd is already the heir to the throne. Known for his attacking style and jaw-dropping shot-making ability, Trump is often compared to Ronnie for his flair and creativity. In a world without Ronnie, Judd would likely have become the face of modern snooker much earlier. He's already got a world championship under his belt and has been racking up titles, but without having to compete with O'Sullivan for the best in the world title, Trump might have already solidified himself as the GOAT by now. Before we move on, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. Ding Junhui is another player who might have had a brighter spotlight in the absence of Ronnie. As the most successful player from China, Ding carries the hopes of an entire nation on his shoulders. His career has seen incredible highs, but it's fair to say that the expectations placed on him have sometimes been a burden. If Ronnie hadn't been around, Ding might have felt less pressure to live up to the comparison and could have focused on cementing his own legacy. His smooth style and solid temperament make him a consistent contender, and it's possible that without the overwhelming presence of O'Sullivan, Ding might have added a few more titles to his name.
This, as we've been hearing, is his third semi-final in 4 years. Last year's runner-up, here comes the warrior, Kyren Wilson.
Kyren Wilson is another name that comes up in conversations about future greats. Known for his gritty determination and never-say-die attitude, Wilson has been knocking on the door of greatness for a few years now. Without the shadow of O'Sullivan looming over the game, Kyren could have become the next fan favorite, earning titles and pushing for greatness. It's impossible to say exactly who would have taken the crown as the greatest without Ronnie in the mix, but based on what we know, it's likely that Stephen Hendry would have remained the most dominant figure in the game for a lot longer. Hendry's relentless pursuit of titles and his robotic precision would have kept him on top, perhaps for another decade. But the more interesting possibility is Judd Trump. Judd's style of play is very similar to Ronnie's in terms of creativity and showmanship. Without Ronnie to steal the spotlight, Judd could have been the guy to revolutionize snooker. He's got the flair, the speed, and the personality to have become snooker's most marketable star. The future. Who's next in line? Snooker is evolving, and while Ronnie has set the bar, there are some rising stars who might just be the future of the game. Let's take a look at some of the up-and-coming players who could be the next big thing in snooker. Zhao Shantong is one of the most exciting young talents in snooker right now. Hailing from China, Zhao has the potential to become the next big name in the sport. His aggressive style and natural ability make him a fan favorite, and at just 26 years old, he's got plenty of time to develop into a true superstar. If he keeps improving, Zhao could become the next dominant force in snooker. China is already a snooker powerhouse, and Zhao could be the player to lead the next generation. Another young Chinese player to watch is Yan Bingtao. At just 23 years old, Yan has already shown that he can compete with the best in the world. He won the 2021 Masters, one of snooker's most prestigious tournaments, and many believe that he's just getting started. Yan's solid all-round game and calm demeanor make him a potential future world champion. In a world without Ronnie, Yan might already be seen as the future face of snooker, leading the charge for the next generation. Looking ahead, snooker's future looks bright, with names like Zhao Shantong, Yan Bingtao, and Kyren Wilson waiting in the wings. They're the ones who might carry the torch forward in post-Ronnie world. And who knows, maybe one of them will become the next legend we all talk about for decades to come. The world without Ronnie O'Sullivan, it would have been different, no doubt. But snooker would still have found its stars, and the game we love would still be full of moments that leave us on the edge of our seats. That's it for this video, hope you enjoyed it. For more snooker content, click on the screen right now.